Hi, I'm Sean.
I'm Rhonda.
Hey, we're excited to be with you today. We want to talk with you about how to evaluate where you are currently in your relationship, in your marriage.
First, you have to decide, where am I? Where am I going? And how will I get there from here?
Many times we can wish we were somewhere else than where we are currently, and then we can be responding to and living with our spouse out of what I wish was taking place instead of what's really taking place.
A lot of couples are acting as if their marriage is healthy. They're talking to each other in ways that you could talk well if the relationship supported it. But if there's enough struggle going on, the relationship doesn't support it. And when we behave as if this is a great and amazing relationship we have, but we're operating as if we're acquaintances or casual friends, that just doesn't go over the same, does it?
I think we have to acknowledge that if we start acting like our marriage is closer than it really is, that doesn't make our marriage be closer.
Right.
There are certain steps, a progression that needs to take place to get us there. We really need to live and respond to our spouse in the realm of where we really are.
Because we can say, but we're married, I ought to be able to. But when you got married, how did you all let things deteriorate to a point that's not equivalent to what covenant, what marriage ought to look like? For example, when we think of the spectrum of relationship, we think about things like acquaintances, casual friends, good friends, best friends, lovers, married, and married to intimate. Where might you be, or whichever of you would rank the relationship as lower? Where is your relationship on the ability to interact? Because if we're acquaintance level or casual friend level, you don't go up to an acquaintance or a casual friend and say, hey, I don't like it that you. The relationship doesn't support talking like that. And so if we know where we are, we can talk to the other person based on that. How would you take an acquaintance and move that to a casual friendship? How would you take a casual friendship and move that to a good friendship? You wouldn't try to force it over all the way into intimate marriage, and it's only a casual relationship.
And there's steps. We need to realize where we are. And many times we use a scale of, say, of 0 to 100 for a person to rank where they feel like their marriage relationship is. What would move it up a notch? What is a little step in the direction for an improvement that we can make?
Right. Because, your relationship might be intense, neutral but stable, positive. You want to make a plan, and it's good to think in phases. Sometimes the journey to growing deeper in marital intimacy or just becoming healthy can start with a rude awakening of, wow, this is where we are. If we act like this is where we've allowed the relationship to deteriorate to, and we move forward in a healthy way instead of trying to force a relationship to fit a mold and it's just not there, we're more likely to succeed to get where we want to go.
What if in your love account, like a bank account, you wish you had a surplus? You wish that you could spend out of the excess that's in there. But what if there's not excess in there? What if the account's overdrawn? What if you start to spend out of that love account and there's no resources in there to support your expenditures?
Right. And so this is a good way to talk about what's going on in the relationship. In Genesis 2:25, it says, and they were both naked, the man and his wife, and were not ashamed. That's a good mark to aim for. So as far as where do you want to go, what does God say in his word? What does naked and unashamed mean? And we believe it's more than just physically naked and unashamed. This is spiritually and emotionally exposed and vulnerable with each other.
It uses the wording also in Genesis that Adam knew his wife, and that this was referring to the deepest kind of knowledge that a person could have about their spouse.
In Amos 3:3, it says, can two walk together except they be agreed? In 2 Corinthians 6:14, what communion has light with darkness? There may be some things where we've got some disagreement, some things we haven't worked through yet, some darkness we need to walk out of and lay down.
And also in Ephesians chapter 5, he says, "For this cause shall a man leave father and mother, be joined to his wife, they two shall be one flesh." And this is a great mystery, but I speak concerning Christ and the church. I think the most intimate, close relationship that we can have is with God, and then mirroring that relationship is our relationship with our spouse. So hopefully you can find something in here to identify where you are currently in your relationship, and then identify some steps that you can make to go forward.